Hey, welcome to another episode of Amp Up Solar Talk. Today, we're introducing the new EG4 Advantage and the Outback Power Advantage programs. These programs are a cash incentive that will reduce the cost of energy storage systems. And we've got James Showalter here to explain how it all works. James, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Absolutely. So, James, let's start right there. What is the Advantage program?
So the Advantage program is what we think is the best homeowner lease and most pro DIY lease in the business for battery storage products. It's our own in-house lease that we do with all distribution partners of EG4 and Outback that get an option to participate in, and we're going to be doing it with Signature Solar.
And Signature Solar is very excited about it, and that's why we're doing this today. This comes with a cash incentive, so tell me what that means.
As the owner of the system ourselves, we have an obligation to maintain and operate the system. And in the lease provision, the homeowner basically comes alongside as our partner. And because they're going to help us out with that, we can pay about a 30% bonus payment after the system is commissioned and operational. Once we validate the system's commissioned and operational, there's a period after where we go in and provide all that money up front to the homeowner they're going to need to justify supporting the system in the coming 5 years.
Okay. So if this is something that I want to do, I'm interested in the Advantage program, I'm interested in battery backup. As a customer, walk me through what I need to do to take advantage of this program.
Well, I think you would call the representative at Signature Solar and say you would like to pursue whatever system of your choice that you're interested in under the Advantage program, and they would provide you a proposal, lease proposal, that would show the relationship between us and you for that period of time, about 5 to 8 years, and then you would be able to make a decision on if getting the about 30% bonus payment after commissioning the system is right for you.
Okay. So who is this for? Is this for a DIY person? Is this for somebody, a homeowner who wants to have an install their system?
Well, it can work for a lot of different people. I think one of the coolest things and most unique things about this is we built it with DIYers in mind, right? So I think if you look at it from a DIYer angle today, you can go and, build a system yourself and take all of the responsibility for operating the system over the next 5 years yourself and not engage with the Advantage program. But when you do it with the Advantage program, you legitimately get 30% of that upfront cost paid to you as a bonus. And that is, I think, a more financially compelling project and one that you can feel comfortable will be better for your family from a return on investment standpoint.
And so this is about 30% of what?
About 30% of your total system package upfront cost.
So if we're talking about an energy storage system, we're talking about inverter, we're talking about batteries and everything that would be included with that?
Yes, yeah, and I think some people might even kind of take advantage of it from a standpoint of including the permitting cost, right? If you're in a place that requires permitting, and that may also be used for help them be able to add solar later without having to pay for a permit cost. So really, everything that's needed to get an energy storage system running on your home.
Okay, if I wanted to include the solar panels, would those be included in that total cost, in that total package?
No. So solar panels are not part of our Advantage program. It's only for battery systems. But we know our people really well. We think this is a lot of help because the overwhelming majority of these systems that people have built in the past has actually cost-wise has been really the energy storage and conversion system instead of the panels themselves.
Right. Absolutely. Now, if I decided to have an installer install my system, would I get to include the cost of the installation as well?
It's just like adding in a permit cost. It's whatever you need to get a battery system for your family at your house that you're partnering with us on.
Wow, that sounds like that would be a really great deal to be able to include that installation cost as well as the system. So who can actually take advantage of this right now? Is it available to everyone nationwide, or are we just locally, or who can take advantage?
So you're going to see a map of the states that it's active in. I think we're going to start with some of those states. I think we're trying to reach about 70 million people initially in a few different states, but that's at the time of videoing. We're going after every state. And if we aren't in your state yet, we'll try to get there.
Yeah, one of the things that really strikes me about this program is whether you want to have, as a homeowner, you want to install it yourself or you want to have an installer install it, it's meeting the customer where they are. And that's something that you all have always been driven to do, is make solar accessible for everyone. And so this just seems like one more step in that direction.
I mean, we're in a position to build a financial product like this and additional support service infrastructure, and we feel like it's the right thing to do in the market environment we're in.
Mm-hmm. So how does participating in something like this change the way a customer thinks about the overall cost of a system?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at the actual net experience, it reduces the cost of the experience of building a system and running it. So I think it's a favorable view. I mean, I think, if you look at a bonus structure that's about 30%, right? You could live in a world where they're about 30% more excited to do the system. I would say, if it's a mathematical number, it's probably a little bit technical there, but I think most of the people who are thinking about a system are very technical. So I think it kind of is as impactful as it numerically pencils out to.
Yeah, for sure. Would it be fair to say this is the first time that we've offered, or that DIYers haven't been excluded from something like this in the industry?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that we get up in the morning and scheme about is, providing value to do-it-yourselfers. I mean, we've always, at Signature Solar, we've always felt like very little the industry cares about people building their own systems, and doesn't really want to serve that. And we wake up trying to find new ways to get out there with solutions for people. So it's what we think is our job. But yeah, I think it's another situation where the industry is just kind of overlooked the DIY sector and their needs here.
Yeah. Why would you say right now is the time for this?
Well, we look at an energy crisis going on. People's power bills are going to jump more than they've seen before. The grid's becoming less reliable. This process is here to help people afford batteries on their homes and really have a second partner like us assisting them in that process. I can't think of a better time, Kelly.
What about, did this happen also with the government policy changing last year? Anything having to do with the big, beautiful bill?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you read a newspaper, right, and look what happened there, really, there's a lot of battery and solar subsidies that are going on for the next 6 years, but those are exclusively given to lease companies while, the homeowner direct government subsidy program's gone. And so, I think that was one of the things that we thought about, was maybe the right answer is to just become a lease company. I mean, you've looked at all the other things that we've done, moving our supply chain out of China and into the United States and getting domestically compliant hardware. So, the kinds of subsidies that were left for lease companies were frankly tied to all the hardware moves we've made and are making. And of course, some of the hardware available in this process is actually from China, but it was actually commenced, safe harbored in 2025 before the China restriction came in. So we were just in the absolute best position to start a lease solution and see if it was something that helped people out and helped make more people make the decision to build their own system.
So that's what I like about you, James, is you're always thinking about what's going to help people the most. And so how would you define safe harbor?
Well, I think it's more of a technical term on tax that, going forward, you can't use Chinese hardware in any of these leases. We won't offer it with any of the Chinese hardware. The original 48-volt EG4 system, like most other, I think all other 48 volts in the market were made in China. But I think we were able to begin working on this fleet of systems last year. This has been months and months in the making, and building something as complex as a lease. And so the hardware that people have been using for the last 3 to 4 years will be available for this, if that's interesting. I mean, there'll be a window of time where you can get that hardware on this lease. When that hardware's out, you will not be able to get it again, and you will be tied to our domestic content hardware, which you guys should see more of this later on this summer.
So what I hear you saying is there's limited stock in these systems for the 48 volts right now.
Yeah, the 48 volt was not the platform we moved to the United States. I think we were at some of the shows for a domestic content solution, but basically after the 48 volt, I think we got maybe a few thousand systems that we set up when we set up the leases. Hey, we can go ahead and get these in for people who are going to want the original 48 volt system, which has been hyper popular in the United States. And then after that stock is dwindled, but I think before that time we'll have the domestic content solution out, and that will be available for the same program. We can pay about a 30% bonus for people who partner with us, which I think will keep this opportunity going for the years ahead.
Okay, so this is something that you see future forward.
Because we moved our manufacturing and supply chain to the United States, we did a big landmark deal with LG Energy Solutions out of Michigan last year for our battery supply chain. You know, at the end of the day, if we hadn't done that, this would only be like a 6-month blip we could have done with the Chinese supply chain. But this totally aligns with our strategic move in the U.S. To align with new policies targeting American companies moving their supply chains here for batteries, which the government seems to think is grid infrastructure.
Okay. So the industry has gotten really confusing these days after the big, beautiful bill with domestic content and FIOC and safe harbor. What do all those things mean? Can you help us make some sense out of this?
I mean, they're incredibly complicated. And I think the sense I would share on it is that as the system owner, we have a crack team of legal agents that are answering all those questions for us, so you don't have to worry about them.
That's great.
You know, and there's no magic tricks here. We had to move to the U.S. to be FIOC compliant, right? We had to take the right actions to, you know, have the 48 volt series hardware for a limited time comply with this. All of these things are very complicated legal problems, you know, and there's stuff that we've solved. And whenever we present a leasable option to you, all of those questions are answered. If we'll do a lease solution for it, then it fits regulations.
Very good. Thanks for handling that for us all, because that's been very confusing.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more convenient for somebody to put together a really strong legal team for, you know, 100,000 people than for 100,000 people to hire their own lawyers.
So let's break this down a little bit further. I choose my system through the Advantage program, which means I'm partnering with you guys.
Yes.
I get it turned on.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, and this will be laid out in the lease contract. Within 6 months of turning the system on, you will receive your bonus payment, about 30% of the package you selected. And that will be in your bank account. I mean, you can imagine if that was a $20,000 package, that would be, you know, about a $6,000 bonus payment.
So then I'm enjoying the benefits of an energy backup system.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, you got your money. You're going to get an email from us 6 months into it with, and of course, we're always available in case you have any questions, with a system optimization report that is discussing how you use your system, opportunities we see for you to improve it, et cetera. We're gonna kind of let you know how we would advise the system being operated, et cetera. And you can take our advice or not. If there's something that's critical of the system shut down, we'll alert you to that and ask for your help in making sure the system is operational, probably more like on an instance basis on that stuff. And you've got us as your optimization partner for the coming years ahead.
So since Signature Solar still owns the equipment, I can rely on them to help me maintain the system.
Well, actually, it's the Advantage program, which is kind of behind the distributors. But and it's really, it's a good point to bring up, because it won't be the distributors that are the owners of the system. It's the Advantage program, which we've set up actually in a different related company to support this. And you're absolutely right. They own the system. And they have a responsibility to keep it running. So we'll be wanting feedback from you in those years that you're operating it as to how the system is doing. And of course, we'll be giving you feedback, because remember, we paid you that bonus to partner with us on keeping the system running. So if there's some things that need to be done, you know, physically or with a professional, et cetera, just like you would have had to face if you DIY'd a system, you know, we'd expect that you support us on that.
And how long does this support last, or what is the term of the lease?
Well, I think the standard lease goes out as far as 8 years. But, I think you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be ownership motivated. And, we've got our own motivations from a standpoint of we need to keep this system running. We really appreciate the support that the homeowner is going to provide. And so I think that, by 8 years, it truncates if you really want to stretch it out. But I think that if the system is successful and you're performing all of your duties, we're going to create options for ownership for you that should cost less than a hamburger. Of course, that's after year 5 of full successful operation of the system. We would look at how the system's gone. And, I think those kind of paths are going to be clear in the contract on day one. So it's one of the reasons why people should look at these options, really look at a proposed contract and see if they're ownership motivated and they want to own the system as fast as they can, as cost effectively as they can. That's something to talk to a sales rep about. I think most people are actually going to want that. Yeah. And we're going to be looking at that as an option. And something I think most people are going to get an incredibly strong solution for that makes them feel like this is exactly the kind of value that they think they're getting when they're taking these bonus payments and helping us out.
Yeah. So what would you say is the one thing that you would like people to know about the Advantage program?
I mean, it's a simple story. The industry moved toward leases and domestic hardware. We put out domestic hardware and we became a lease company. And just like always, the DIY industry built us. So you guys matter to us and we're here for you. So come and let us advise you and propose some solutions that may make doing a system more cost effective than you thought.
Absolutely. Well, James, I appreciate you walking us through all of this. It's really a unique opportunity, especially for someone who's been thinking about battery storage. So appreciate that very much. For everyone watching, if you want to find out more about the Advantage program, its benefits, or even check out the eligible bundles, visit us at signaturesolar.com. Our sales team can also help answer any questions and make sure that you're getting the most out of the available cash incentive. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook at Signature Solar US so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time right here on AMP Up.